Hey, what's up everyone? DayTraderRockStar here. And an evening recap, kind of an update watch list, getting ready for tomorrow here at the office on Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock. And I just added to my HOFV here. And the first part of the video I want to get out is talking about this setup. HOFV, let's get to the, let's start from the beginning. I saw a tweet going out from a reformed trader, someone on Twitter, that one of the traders I follow, and he mentioned that HOFV had some insider buying. So I confirmed that myself. I like insider buying. I looked at the chart, and it falls into to something I really like here. I like the pullback. I like this was a SPAC. I like that it pulled back. I like that it based out, and I like that in the last week, a lot of the insiders started getting into this. Let's take a look at what we talk about when we talk about insiders getting into this. First of all, I also checked out the float here, and the float is very, there's a couple of things that we look for the criteria on this. I like the consolidations, definitely oversold, so there's potential here. Shares float here, 4.69 million, 4 million shares. I mean, that's nothing. That's nothing. This thing could get picked up by anybody and ran. And now, all right, so it has a couple things we like about it. Now I had to look into a little bit more. What else do I like about it? Well, right here, this is what got my interest into it. There's not a lot of insider buying. Actually, it all happened just recently, from August 17th till August 21st, all in that 420 area. And again, President, CEO, Chief Financial Officer, and President of Operations. So three different people, but multiple inside buyers in that level. Not a tremendous amount of shares, but enough to put it on the radar. And this is significant when you have multiple people in the company buying at the same time. I don't know if it's a vote of confidence, or is it something that they know the value is definitely you would love to see people going all in down here. But the next key to the issue is, what is this stock? Hall of Fame Resort. So I went to the internet, Hall of Fame Resorts. Well, whatever it is. And you can see I've already went to this, and what it is it's a resort, I guess. You know what? It's still hard to figure out. There's a negative on this. There's definitely a negative. It has to do with football. It's like a Disneyland of football, they said. It's a Disneyland type of football. It's set up here. The Disneyland of football is coming to Ohio. First of all, there's a lot of violence in Ohio. But take a look at that. That's pretty impressive, If that's already built, or is that a mock-up, or is that already there? I wonder if that's something they're building. I didn't even really read into this. This was all about getting in before everyone else got in. What's just happened? I think I just bought the rest of my shares. All right, it did. I just picked up the rest of my shares there. Hall of Fame Resorts and Entertainment Company launched a 600-acre Hall of Fame village surrounding the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton, Ohio. It's been called the Disneyland of football, creating something that will be a great experience for football fans all over the world. Have $1 billion mixed-use community will offer football-themed water sport park, exclusive football content, retail, hotel, dining, destination for regional guests. For the company, which started trading as a public company on July 2nd, it is completely reliant on traditional professional football. It's also capitalizing on youth sports, fantasy sports, and esports. The company recently acquired a majority of interest in developmental stage professional fantasy football league. And again, there's a lot of shakiness here. It's amid the coronavirus pandemic. I mean, this is it. They're not playing sports outside. They're not having people go to these places. So this is the worst timing for this to go public. On Monday, Canadian Football League canceled the season, and so far the NFL is scheduled to start the season September 10th. But even if the coronavirus upends the NFL plan, the resort's stakeholders aren't likely to get spooked about the future prospects, according to the company. Well, we'll see about that. it already was spooked. I mean, this thing came public at $10, $12. If we look back at the as a SPAC comes usually public right around that $10 level, and right in the height of the pandemic, proceeded to do a dirt nap right down to $4 and change where we got in today, and now it's popped, and after hours it's up here to 515. So are we due for a bounce? Yeah, I definitely think. Are the insiders correct on this and they have to hold a bit? Yeah. What do they know? I think there's a lot of positives here. Maybe we're in the late innings of the virus. The virus count seems to be going down. If that continues and there's any positive football news, I think this one gets the call here. So I don't know if it's built. I have to, I guess you really got to have a phone number here. Are you guys up and running? Or these are just the plans? It's coming to Ohio. All right, so so that's that one, and it's a fast trade. I'm not looking to stick around here. $6, I'd probably be out of it, and that's it. It's just about getting in before everyone else gets in, and getting out before everyone else gets out. I mean, that's the key to really making money in this market. We were doing that today in the stock called SGLB. So if you got this stock, because I put this stock out as one of my setups a few weeks ago as a flatliner, and what I did was it was called a low flow flatliner watch list, and it was these stocks that were just flatline. There was no activity in it at all. But what I've been noticing over the last 2 months is that any bit of news would start get interest in these stocks, and there would be a rush of the traders, day traders, to get in, and volume brought these, just popped these things up 50 to 100 to 200%. Even penny stocks going up to a 70-cent stock going to $1.40 or $1.20. These are huge moves when you put it in a percentage wise. Like, say you were like in Apple and I got 100% on my trade in one day. That's, you wouldn't be able to do that, but you could do that in some of these stocks if you get in early. So we were in this one, and I happened to be here. One of the things you have to do to make money sometimes is to be on the right side, be in front of the computer when that happens. It announced it had a major deal contract with Mitsubishi Heavy Machinery. It popped up to about 772. And what was my exit? 772. I think I topped that shit out. I mean, I honestly think I topped that. It was 776 was the high. My order went at 772. Do you believe that? 772. I might have had the best trade in this stock ever. I don't even know what the high was. High was 790. 790. And 789. If I bring that down to the 1 minute time frame, let's see. Oh man, I mean, now I'm looking back at it. I mean, looking at it now, look where it came back. And then it came back down, and it was right under $4. It was around I don't know where it was, 380 something. I picked it up, I got back in it, and I traded it for like 50 cents out, and I left it be. And look where it came down. It came all the way back down to 276. Holy crap. I mean, if I would have woke up or just decided not to look at, just not to pay attention today, what a waste that would have been. What a waste. But I am so happy about that. So, that's behind us. But that's the type of setups we're looking for. And someone asked me today in the room, I said, John, why are you picking up a lot of these cheap stocks? You've got to stick to the quality names. And I do. But I'm also playing a game that the market's given us sometimes. This market is running on some of these momentum trades. And it's hard. I always came out and, when I started to educate about trading and pass on my experiences, my education and my methodology, it would always be the first thing is invest and trade with quality names. That is always the top of the list, and that is true. And I still don't want to cloud the waters by letting you think that you can make money in penny stocks like this. It's a harder game. It's like lottery tickets, and it's okay to buy a lottery ticket if you're willing to spend that money and lose that money. But the majority of the money, you want to be able to just get in and out of good quality names on pullbacks and using the methodology like today on, watching the UNH here. I like that UNH relative strength going into the close, and it's closed higher. I mean, there's a lot of stocks out there that are in. I'm going to be watching Walmart tomorrow. Hopefully we get that bounce tomorrow. There's some other ones. There's quality names out there. But like a stock like HOFV that we're in, I think 4 million share float. This is the criteria. Like I said, on Tuesdays when I'm here after hours, what I like to do is make sure people tune back in, around between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock, so we could go over the stocks that are running into the close. And those are the candidates for usually gap and goes tomorrow. So we'll see. This one is high on the list. This one is high on the list, so I'm excited about this one, but I'm not overly, I don't have grand, goals on this. $7, I think would be, the greatest trade ever for this one, because these are dangerous. I mean, who's buying a football stadium that's not even built in a pandemic? Hey guys, thanks. So let's take a look now, and let's see what is moving here after hours. All right, we got to 1, and I did pick up a couple hundred more shares just because I'm seeing it move here, but I'm not even going to send it out. I have 700 altogether, but for the record, it's 500. Let's see here. What do we have? Post. All right, we're going to do a scan. We're going to refresh it. Real time. All right, and let's take a look at the... How do we want to do this? All right. We're going to go through a couple of these. Now, in some cases, you're going to have longer gray areas. Gray areas represent after-hours sessions. Now, at 4 o'clock, and then from 4 o'clock on to 8 o'clock is after hours. Here's works. Health Information Services. Looks pretty good, other than, boy, that thing got... This was, of course, information, works, probably some kind of telecommunication or telemedicine. It popped, like most of these stocks, at one point, and then came back down, and then it got crushed, man. This is ugly. When you see these stocks that already got their pops, usually it's hard to get that same reaction back. They sell it faster. I'm probably going to just mention it to you guys. We'll watch it tomorrow. Big Commerce really was acting good overnight. Here. Why is that like this? Where are we here? Where's the after hours on this? For some reason it's not showing up there. All right, we'll go down the list here. JFIN. That's nothing really. I mean, some days you get really good people that are just buying and buying right up to the 8 o'clock. It just continues to grind higher. Other ones you just want to kind of gauge it. See what's holding up. Maybe you see something like, here's the NEO. That seems to be a little bit more what we're looking at. And that's been actually acting really good. It closed on the highs. It continues to grind throughout the evening. And this is the candle for today. So it was a good day. You probably will have some follow through tomorrow just based off of this candle. Futures are open. They're up at $1.50 right now. We have the bot in a short divergence setup. Let's see here. What else? Urban One. I don't get it, but people will still fall for that. Cutter medical devices. That sounds interesting. It's 1895. It's been trending up after hours, tick by tick. Let's take a look at the daily on this. Big pop on that. I don't know what they do really. I have to. Cutter. Cutter. I call it cutter. Hall of Fame resorts. Hey, it made the list. It made the list. How you like that? I usually like these. I wish there was a little bit more volume going into the close. More volume would be better, and it would make probably pop at the end of the day or end of the session here. But it's not bad. It was consolidated and popped, and now it's consolidating here. We could get a little pop through 525. And I wouldn't even be upset to take profits at 550 if it popped up to 550 today. Just continue on. Not much else out there. Opera Limited software. Is that Opera the browser? A little pop at the end of the day there. CTIB, Yonghang, going to be Chinese retail. It's been moving up all day. $1.68. That doesn't look that bad. No, it does now. Remember, they all have their pop, original pop. It's very hard to get that move back here. There's a couple here, cheap ones. VTGN. I'm still waiting to pop. It did pop. It pulled back down to 70. I think if we could get back up here. But here's the other one that I find very interesting. Was it what is the one I have here? What is it? INPX. NPX. And it's flatlined. It's coming out with news. It seems a little too obvious. They've done a reverse split before. It never really worked out. I'd hate for them to do it again or announce some kind of bull crap like this. It has an interesting, I went over this, and it's just like, I put this one just like Remark. That we were on top of this before it happened, that they did like detection, heat, temperature detection if you walk through it past an area. And we were in it here, and then finally it started moving and we got out on halfway up, but it continued to move up much higher, and it was a home run. Now it comes all the way back down. I have no interest in it. But again, the same thing which we were just looking at on INPX. It had that one thing. I would like to get one pop on this. It was some kind of big contract. It started to move the other day up here, and then it came down. It popped this morning on some news right here. And it got up to about 150, but sold off and then just went sideways. It's just not getting the news. It's not getting. But maybe this week we get some more news. It needs a little bit more positive news flow. Apollo in the room here looking at NSPR. Do I have that one? I have that. NSPR. I have 1,000 shares of that. NSPR. Inspire. All right, Inspire. That is I think that's the stent. And it's a stent play. And again, it was one of those flatliners. All right, we'll get into a flatliner. See if it gets a pop. And, I guess you just got to be watching this and take advantage of a pop if we get a pop on it. Nothing has happened yet. It's hanging in there. They need some kind of FDA stuff. Who knows? I mean, these are the lottery ticket things. You get in, you don't really know much about it, but you wait for some type of news to hit to get the pop and to get the hell out of Dodge with a nice percentage gain. So to look into it a little bit more, I guess. Oh yeah, Paul is talking about that Bitcoin area here at 11,200, 11,100 to 11,200. I like it. That reminds me, I want to see if I can connect that stuff later tonight. My Coinbase. What else we have? The Inspire. I have a lot of other cheap ones here, but nothing really I'm looking for it to move tomorrow. I mean, at least we have this HOFV, and we'll see what else. Well, what else do we have for tomorrow? Let's take a look at that UNH. Kind of closed. Close the middle of the candle. We'll see if it has anything. See if the market has anything actually. Paulo with a question about airlines. I like the airlines better than I like the cruise ships. I really don't like the cruise ships, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But I just think those are too enclosed, and I mean, they really now I'm not going to say too enclosed. I mean, an airline is really enclosed too, but it's like the food and stuff. I was just thinking before. I was actually thinking about this. When we order food. I was just thinking about that. You have the cook out there, and the cooks never wear gloves either. They're like picking up the food with their hands, and they put it in place on the plate and stuff. And it's like a cook. He's a cook. He could do that, But I would feel safer if I looked behind there and it was an open kitchen. And I could see the cook with a mask on. That he's not breathing and dribbling and all that sweating on my food and stuff. Because I just realized if it's that easy to catch something. We that's where we're catching everything, People making your food and carrying your food out and blowing their nose and dribbling, it's you got to feel that I hate to bring this to my attention, nevertheless your attention. I mean, it's disgusting if you think about it. That's why if you thought about what happens in kitchen, you would never go out to eat. If you don't think about it. I think they should use masks from now on for cooks. And anybody in the food industry. Because you know what? The people are making my food. But that's on a little tangent there. So airlines, AAL, like I said, I was recently on an airplane. I found it fine, it didn't bother me. Wearing a mask, everything was okay. But it was very lacking convenience. They didn't offer you any food or anything. You couldn't buy anything. Everything was, and it was very, very sanitary, which is good. And I'm sure they could put these machines in planes to circulate the air out. But I think, I like the airplanes better than the cruise ships because you're not, no one's breathing on your food. Like at the cruise ships, you're going around in a buffet type of thing, and everybody and their kids putting the roll back on the plate. Put that roll back there. Put that roll. Timmy, get your hand out of that. Timmy hears the green snot coming out of his nose. Baby, burping. That's norovirus. I'm surprised more ships are not. So airlines, we need airlines, We needed to see family members, or, people are going to start traveling again. I think this is the bottom. I really do. I think this is the bottom. The if you go somehow take advantage of that with a longer term view and a longer term hold on this, I think you're going to be fine. Two of the best balance sheets in the airlines, Alaska Airlines and Southwest. So, those we consider sometimes the best of breed. And if you're going to look at some of those, I would look at those two. This seems to be holding off recent lows. I mean, the consolidation is there. Let's take a look at LUV. That's even a little bit better, which I like a little bit better. This is the one I do the most charting on because I think I like this one the most. And it looks good. I mean, for what it is, it's not really moving. It's not one of those tech stocks that you're going to get, 100-point moves in it. You're lucky to get a buck or two in this thing. But as a longer term trade, 2014. I'm taking that the virus here continues to fizzle out and we get back to some type of normal routine when it comes to planes. Even though a lot of people are getting used to staying, they're not commuting, they're not doing the meetings, they're not doing webinars and seminars and the trade shows and stuff. So these business plates, they're not flying for business as much. And I understand it's going to be a while for that to come back. Is there better places to put your money? That's the big question. I think that's the question you always have to ask yourself. Where's the best place to get the best return? That's why I wrote off LUV. I wrote off all those stocks. Even though I like the LUV, I just wrote off looking at them. Jets is the ETF, JETS, Jets. When you're a jet all the way. From your first cigarette to your last dying day. When you're a jet, you're a top cat in town. Little boy, you're a man. Little man, you're a clown. The Jets are in gear. The cylinders are clicking. Doon, 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 doon. 'Cause every Puerto Rican is a lousy chicken. All right, I didn't mean anything if you're Puerto Rican out there. That's just a musical that we do here in the United States. Sorry. JETS. Yeah, it has a similar pattern than the LUV 1749. All right, so looking at net, I want to add that to the list for tomorrow. Definitely looking at this. You can see there's no real turn down here. There's no direct acceleration in these stochastics, meaning we're really starting to hold up here. This is really bullish. It was mentioned in the IBD today as institutional buy support off the 50-day moving average on Cloudflare. Up about $1, but that $40 level, it's banging around there. So I'm going to be looking at this one closer tomorrow to get a re-entry on this. And I also wanted to, here's a red flag warning. I want to go over some of the articles here. Gene Goldman, Chief Investment Officer at TER Investment Management, notes that 11% rise in the S&P above the 200-day moving average is historically rare yet meaningful. Finds that in the past 6 instances of this occurrence, the benchmark went sideways for an extended period, yet Goldman is bullish about the middle term for U.S. equities and active portfolio management. Here are 3 reasons. One, of his team forecasts a U-shaped economic recovery. This, however, means it will take a while before the U.S. GDP growth returns pre-COVID levels. 2, market volatility is bound to rise on Wall Street continues to react to news on coronavirus. Market volatility is bound to rise as Wall Street continues to react to the news on the coronavirus. Well, it's been going down. The market volatility, the VIX has not been rising. Let's take a look at the VIX right here. it's been selling off here, as you can see. There is. I don't know where he sees that. I understand volatility in two meanings here. The choppiness, maybe the volatility, that those fast, jolly moves that can come on news could react to moves on a short term. But when we talk about volatility in the market using the VIX, that has not been the case. We have been actually selling off here, which probably makes it a good time to start to take on some protection down here. But I don't know what it says here. Team forecast. All right, so what are we up to here? All right, 3 reasons. 2, market volatility is bound to rise as Wall Street continues to rack. All right, bound to rise. Maybe I read that wrong. I apologize on that. Bound to rise. 3, he sees a shifting investment landscape. I agree with that. It is bound to rise at one point. 3, he sees shifting investing landscape, not unlike what happened after the Great Recession in 2000 and 2000. That is, as leadership will keep rotating from sector to sector. Okay, I could agree with that. Both financial and industrials have done better when the market is coming out of an economic recession. We do expect industrials to benefit from the infrastructure spending. Tech is expensive, especially relative to other sectors, but it's benefiting from work from home. All right, I have to agree with all that. He provides investment strategies to a large network of financial advisors and investment, and here's his advertisement. And I just poked myself in the eye. Anyway, all right, so general, I think a lot of people are looking at the same thing. We're going to look at giving you a free look at the IB50 growth stocks. Still plenty of dry investor watch list. This is IBD 50, which is really a good watch list, and I highly recommend it. Let me get the real list here. I have the page shrunk so much I'm not. There it is. IBD 50. There we are. All right, here we are. So this is ranked number 1 to 50, the best performing stocks, and it's a very good place to to get these runners and these leaders. All right, and sometimes you could find some interesting ones here. Now we know most of these, like AMD, Nvidia, PLMR Holdings, I don't pay Vive, came out with earnings today, popped. Any of these stocks that actually come out with earnings too are usually good, and that's what we should check earnings for tomorrow too. PayPal. All right, so let's take a look at these. I normally, what I'm going to do is move this off here for a second. And I'm going to I'll move it over here. And then I can't even see it over there. And I'm just going to bring up some of the stocks. Now it's 7:47. Remember, we're going to see if there's any strong closes. All right. PLMR. I'm not really familiar with what they do. Insurance, casualty, property. Insurance companies going into a hurricane. But look at that. Look at this. This has been this never even got this never died and never got hit by Corona at all. This was actually a great stock to look at. This is kind of obvious now looking back, where everything was getting crushed. This was actually making new highs. That's an impressive chart right there. It continues to look good at 107. Let's take a look at the 60-minute time frame. Now the 60-minute got oversold back here and didn't give much time. We're back here in an oversold level, so you should look at this one. Let me get my piece of paper here, and pen and paper, before I mess up and forget these. PLMR. All right, the next one up here, that looks good. The Vive, I'm not going to bother with that. Teradyne is always a good one, and I don't know, there's so many stocks, not enough time. Ooh, nice coil. Looks pretty good. I mean, we haven't hit 100. Got up to 92. This is probably going to hit 100. Teradyne. TER. Let's concentrate on that one. I could see myself getting into some of these on the 60-minute time frame. We'll make our own separate little watch list based off the 60, off the top 5 stocks off this list. Because as you can see, 60-minute rotation, bounce, 60-minute rotation, bounce, 60-minute rotation, bounce, 60-minute rotation, choppy, but then bounced. But slight bounce here. It's not so overextended on the 60 right now, but the daily is coiled up. It does look good. I mean, you'd rather be in it than not. Semiconductor equipment materials. So let's go to the next one. WST. West Pharmaceutical Services, $275. Just a good looking chart, right? $275, WST. I mean, all these require a little bit more digging. If you guys want to work with me, if you guys want to check the earnings on any of these, go right ahead and let me know if maybe some of these might have earnings. If they had earnings, these are the ones you want to be in too. Because Vive, Vive has made it to this list for one reason. And again, here's the earnings on this. It went from 260 to 267, chopping around. All right, so let's just continue. Palomar, Teradyne, WST, Emergent Biosolutions, Stamps.com. This isn't Stamps.com kind of an obvious one for mail-in ballots and stuff? Maybe they make some kind of deal with people so they could vote. I don't know. It just seems like it's could be a potential easy, out in the open type
Order
of setup.
submitted. Order filled.
1 minute cell divergence short signal.
Another short signal.
Order
here.
submitted. Order submitted. Order submitted.
Apps. Let's take a look at apps. I haven't heard that one in a while. Digital Turbine. Nice pullback here. $24. I want to write that one down. I got to do a little research on these. Let's take a look at PKI. That's a nice oversold level here. PKI. Let's write that one down too. These are all potential setups going into tomorrow. So there you have it. Couple new setups there for you. Now the one I really do like, and we didn't really focus on it too much today, was the Facebook today and the announcement of their Facebook shop, where you could sell products. And this looks really good, and I would expect this to get a follow-through. I think this is going to go right to 300. It's probably already ran after hours, too. Yeah, it closed out here. It's been slowly moving up. 282. What time is it? I like this Facebook a lot. So Facebook goes on the top of the list. Okay, we go right to 300 pretty fast. I want to actually look at that that website, the new Facebook. Look at the HOFV here, kind of pulled back at the end of the day. Some people selling right at the close here. You know, people who don't want to hold overnight. Let's see what happens here. We're about 6 minutes away from the close. So what am I looking at here? The Facebook app here. Let me pause this. So that's going to be it for the watch list. I want to get this out so people have time to look at it, review it. I know it's already a 40-minute long video, but we go over a lot of different things. I apologize. My videos, so much to put out there. But if you happen to listen to it live, you don't have to watch the video. But if you weren't here, then you might like some of the information here. New setups and everything. I want to get these out. So turn it off the video now.